This is known as the champeen vegetable mincing knife and noodle cutter. Now, when you want to make some real fine noodles at home, you roll the dough out like this. Dip this into a little flour so it doesn't stick to the dough, and as you roll it over the dough, that will cut the noodles in long strips, 10 at a time. Did you ever try to chop up a little nuts for cake? Why, I've seen ladies chop nuts and the nuts land up on the ceiling. Sometimes you chop the ends off your fingers. When you want to chop up a little nuts for cake, cooked meat, clams for chowder, soup greens to throw into your soup, making a little pepper or chicken hash is just a few strokes rolling it up and down. Why, here is without a doubt the meanest thing in the world to cut parsley. Put that in a grinder, you really grind it too fine. This machine, instead of crushing the parsley, cuts it quick, clean, and dry, leaving every bit of the juice and every bit of the flavor. Now, to clean this machine, you press the button. Rinse it out in a little water. When you're through using it, hang it up and let it dry. Here's one here that every lady should have in her home, known as the Parisian scoop. You lay it flat, once to the right, once to the left. When you scoop them out, you'll get a perfect round little ball. You can pot roast these, cut them out of cheese or cut them out of butter. When you're serving a fruit cocktail in the summertime, take your fresh cantaloupe, scoop them out like this, mix them with apples, pears, and watermelons, makes a delicious fruit cocktail served with a little cracked ice like you see here. But here are the two ladies, if you ever do get it, you'll thank the day you've seen this demonstration. When you press, it locks. It's like a pair of human hands. Reach in the oven and take the biscuits out of the oven. Ever take the hot potatoes out of the oven and burn yourself on the elbow? A roast chicken out of the oven, a piece of meat out of the pot, spinach, asparagus out of the water. Why, around canning season, when you're preserving the fruits, to take the hot fruit jars out of the water like that, that machine is worth dollars to you. And here's another one that I really know you'll enjoy having in your kitchen, known as the safety grater. No doubt you're familiar with the old-fashioned grater. I've seen ladies take a grater and rip the knuckles off. When you want to grate up potatoes for delicious potato pancakes, this has a smooth, flat edge, impossible to cut yourself. Just like you were washing clothes, you rub it up and down, and you really grate your vegetables real fine, retaining all the flavors and all the juices. Breadcrumbs for when you're serving veal cutlets or anything like that. You want a little breadcrumbs to fry your fish in? Why, there's the greatest proposition in the world. Use that for coconut, cheese, or horseradish. When you're through with it, just hit it down like that. That knocks all the food out. Rinse it out in a little water and hang it up and let it dry. Now, here is a stone made of carborundum and sapphire quartz, which is made purposely to keep these knives sharp. When they get dull, a few strokes over the edge like this, and you can put a keen cutting edge on it. If you have a dull knife or a dull pair of scissors, an old sickle or a scythe, a lawnmower, cleaver, an axe, there's a tool that will really put an edge on the knife so the knife will really cut for you. I just want to give you an idea of how sharp that knife really is when you sharpen it with that stone. Ladies, I've seen some of you try to open up cans. Now, there's a can of Campbell's baked beans. I've seen ladies open up a can and you poke a hole in it, go around the top, hippity-hop, and your finger slips. Let me show you a real proposition. Look, lay it on the can, lift up the safety, and turn the key. That locks itself on the can. No harder than you were winding up your watch. Wind up the key and that'll cut the top off of the can slick and smooth. Notice how the end raises itself up in the air so you can lift the lid off, giving you a clean, smooth edge. Now, that can be used for sardine cans, square cans or round cans, exactly the same way. Now, this tool here, my dear friends, needs no introduction. This will save you on an average of $20 to $30 every year you use it as a peeling knife. Here's a grater for cheese, coconut, or horseradish, a fish scaler for scaling your fish, and when you're coring your apple, it's just a slight twist of the wrist, and there's the apple core. There's one more tool that I want you to see, and I want you to watch this one very closely. Many a times when you're baking a pie, you have a pudding in the oven. I've seen ladies wrap a towel around your hand, and many a times you burn your fingers. Hook this onto the pot like this and lift the hot pots off the top of the stove. You've got a pie pan in the oven? Get your hold of the pie pan like this. Why, you couldn't get it off with a team of horses. This will positively lift 100 pounds. There's a pail of water weighs 50 or 60 pounds. That's the way you pick it up. But there's one more tool. I'll be all through and I'll be finished. Oh, now the next tool and the last one is what they call the Sarah Bernhardt cutter. This was invented by the head chef of the Imperial Hotel in the city of Berlin, Germany. You place the screw into the center of the vegetable. Twist the vegetable until the threads catch a hold, then you wind this up. You keep winding until you utilize the whole potato. The faster you turn, the quicker the slices. Why, ladies, here's a machine for slicing onions. The first onion that you slice with this cutter, you'll bless the day you've got a hold of it. Every slice cut exactly the same thickness. Every slice cut the same size. In making what they call a rosette, pull the vegetable out like this. Pin the ends together with a toothpick. Drop that potato into the hot fat and fry it. That will come out like a donut, golden brown. If you're serving a nice fish dinner, a little parsley goes in the center with the fish all around it. Makes a very appetizing dish. Did you ever try to slice onions with a knife? You know how you get one thick slice and one thin slice? Run the knife through the center. That will separate each slice individual. Almost like magic, there is every slice cut exactly the same thickness and the same size. Wouldn't you like to have a set like this in your kitchen? Why, of course you would. Now don't forget, attend this theater every week and receive this 12-piece fascinating... Ladies and gentlemen, the management of this theater takes great pleasure in making this announcement. To each lady attending this theater each week, you'll receive absolutely free a fascinating 12-piece kitchen cutlery set, one piece each time. It is really interesting and amazing to know how you can prepare your meals in an appetizing and pleasing manner. There's an old saying, and a true one, that what is pleasing to the eye is bound to be pleasing to the appetite. I'm going to demonstrate this set to you, and I want you to watch it very closely. The first cutter that I'm going to show you, now this first one is known as the Parisian cutter. Wind it through the potato like a corkscrew. When the cutter appears on the opposite side, pull the cutter out. Place the handle in the center and twist it out. This is what they call a French curl. When you fry these, they come out like donuts, nice and brown. Serve them with your steaks or pot roast them. Unwind it, there's two curls out of the one potato. Tomorrow morning for breakfast, wind a little strip of bacon around the potato and serve them with bacon and eggs. They're delicious. Different colored vegetables, wind them together and you get the two colors. Here's a little trick cut. Split the curl halfway through the center. If you're making a shrimp salad and you happen to run short of shrimp, mix these in with the regular shrimp. On my word, you couldn't tell the difference until you start to eat them. Now the rest of the potato, you stuff it. We'll call this a little chicken. We'll call this here some hamburger. You might have a little meat that's been laying in the ice box for a few days. Chop the meat up fine, season it highly, stuff it into the center of the potato and bake them with the skins on. When they're done, cut them in two. Serve them on the half shell just like that. Serve them in slices when company calls. The more company you have, the thinner you cut the slices. If your mother-in-law calls, give her a beak piece like that. Now the second tool in the set is known as the garnishing knife. Everything you cut with this must come out fancy. Watch this, please. You cut down, you turn the potato, and then you cut through the edge. First one way and then the other. Sweet potatoes cut like this. Drop them into a little batter of pancake flour and fry them. When they're golden brown, sprinkle molasses on them. Serve them with strips of bacon for breakfast while they're delicious. Here's beets, you pickle them, and carrots, you steam or cream them. In making the original French fried potato, cut them in thick slices. Put them one on top of each other. Cross-cut the slices, and you'll never eat a French fry any other way. The potatoes cut like this will not absorb the fat because they're garnished around. Pineapples cut for your pineapple and cheese salad, cut them the same way. Here is one, and this is a dandy. Cuts any thickness or any size. Open it for a thick slice, close to the top for a thin slice. Saratoga chips, you can make them for 3 or 4 pennies a pound. Just pull the blade towards you like this. If you want the slices thicker than this, open the blade, there's a thick slice. Shoestrings for your Friday fish dinner, cut them down like this. Chop them up for your vegetable soup. What this knife is really intended for is for cutting the cabbage. You know the old-fashioned board, how you rip and tear, sometimes nipping the ends off your fingers. Lay it flat and pull it lightly towards you over the cabbage. The weight of the knife across the cabbage is all that's necessary. Why, ladies, when you get slaw cut as fine as this, you'll certainly appreciate eating it. The crowning feature of the set is the cutter that I'm going to show you now. This is known as the Champion Vegetable Mincing Knife and Noodle Cutter. Now, when you want to make some real fine noodles at home, you roll the dough out like this. Dip this into a little flour so it doesn't stick to the dough, and as you roll it over the dough, that will cut the noodles in long strips, 10 at a time. Did you ever try to chop up a little nuts for cake? Why, I've seen ladies chop nuts and the nuts land up on the ceiling. Sometimes you chop the ends off your fingers. When you want to chop up a little nuts for cake, cooked meat, clams for chowder, soup greens to throw into your soup, making a little pepper or chicken hash is just a few strokes rolling it up and down. Why, here is without a doubt the meanest thing in the world to cut parsley. Put that in a grinder, you really grind it too fine. This machine, instead of crushing the parsley, cuts it quick, clean, and dry, leaving every bit of the juice and every bit of the flavor. Now, to clean this machine, you press the button. Rinse it out in a little water. When you're through using it, hang it up and let it dry. Here's one here that every lady should have in her home, known as the Parisian scoop. You lay it flat, once to the right, once to the left. When you scoop them out, you'll get a perfect round little ball. You can pot roast these, cut them out of cheese or cut them out of butter. When you're serving a fruit cocktail in the summertime, take your fresh cantaloupe, scoop them out like this, mix them with apples, pears, and watermelons, makes a delicious fruit cocktail served with a little cracked ice like you see here. But here is a tool, ladies, if you ever do get it, you'll thank the day you've seen this demonstration. When you press, it locks. It's like a pair of human hands. Reach in the oven and take the biscuits out of the oven. Ever take the hot potatoes out of the oven and burn yourself on the elbow? A roast chicken out of the oven, a piece of meat out of the pot, spinach, asparagus out of the water, why around canning season when you're preserving the fruits, to take the hot fruit jars out of the water like that, that machine is worth dollars to you. And here's another one that I...
Hello everyone, how we doing tonight? How we all doing? What's new? Welcome back, Uberman. How you doing tonight? Going to be doing shrimp pasta tonight. Doing first 8 days of 2021 here straight. Not normally streaming here on Saturdays. Normal schedule is right there. So, gonna start tonight off and try to take my time with things since this is gonna be a pretty quick dinner tonight. Gonna start off by making the pasta. So, awesome. Glad you're happy, Huberman. Grab yourself a bowl. And I need another one for the eggs. Nice. I've only really, actually, why is my earbud not working still? We can start that. There we go. Awesome. Okay, back to cooking. I'll wipe out our drip of water here. Take our recently refilled flour container, or a smaller flour container. And we're doing 2 1/4 cups. I'm gonna guess the 1/4 cup. Just following the New York Times egg pasta recipe, which has sort of become my egg pasta default here the last couple of years. Yeah, we'll need that later, so we'll just leave that there. Cover ourselves a little well. Get our hands covered in flour. The intro, you like that? Wow, that was almost echoey there. I should turn the gain down on that mic a little bit. He was just an old pitchman. You can probably find it on YouTube. It's actually owned by the video itself is owned by the Smithsonian and is free for use. It's just that one video that I've found. We got one good solid yolk there, so I'm just going to crack another one. Hopefully we get 2 solid yolks here. Nice. And I'm not going to be that perfect about getting it separated from all the whites. as I would if I was doing, like, whisking these whites up for something. So you get 2 yolks, which and then just to make sure we aren't jumping cells in there. Thank you for that follow, New Manja. Hey, Huberman. Thank you, Huberman. Hello, Nemanja. How is your evening going? What is new and interesting in your world? As I get flour everywhere. That was not the intention. Get it all over the counter over here. It was a little too wet, so I added a little flour to the board. We're making shrimp and pasta tonight. Gonna do a onion and sweet pepper sauce to go with it. I normally stream Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, but I'm streaming the first 8 days straight here, the new year. Get the new year going well. Trying to stream more than I did last year. And I did more than 3 days a week last year. If anyone's new here, you can find a list of upcoming dates down below in the About section. And so we're just giving us several minutes of kneading to work the gluten in the dough. That's good. That's the way a year should start. My new year, I'm here by myself. Normally I would travel home at least for some part of the holidays. My family's all back in the Midwest. So, I had a bunch of caramel corn that I made in stream. And cinnamon rolls. Bottle of California bubbly. It was a good time. Getting there. Dough's nice and smooth and soft tonight. Working pretty well after that initial little dust in the flour. That sounds awesome. Not quite there. Well, best bang for your buck is probably going to be avoiding anything saying gaming. But I am far from a computer expert these days. I've built them. I've built the current ones that I have. But I am not a techie anymore. I was much more when I was younger. Why, is he streaming right now? Oh. No. Dough just needs to be kneaded. It's kneady dough. Nice, Loops. Not really. He's trying to get air bubbles out of his clay when he's kneading. What I'm doing here is working the gluten or the protein in the dough and giving it structure and actually giving it a better elasticity, better strength. Yeah, he talks about rolling in a cone. What I'm doing is folding it on top of itself with each hand. And then I'm picking my heel of my hand, pushing it down, and rolling it forward. And actually to the point that it's tearing and ripping in here. And then repeating that. And so this end is continuously getting stretched. We are getting close there. This is looking like a nice dough tonight. As you can see, it's now getting pretty smooth even around the sides and the top. Oh, we got a Stream Raiders battle to do here. Let's do our battle. Let's see how we do with our battle here. Woohoo! Victory! Congrats, Head Mama Bear. Ooh, scrolls. What's this? The skin. Okay, we're going towards the loyalty chest there. Enemies revealed over time. I don't really see anything out there yet. Which the last several of these, it used to be that I would buy, or I would start into one, and there would at least be like one character on the field. Now there's nothing out there. But they definitely pop up. You see the bottom's getting nice and smooth there. It's getting almost to the point where it's hard for me to get it to tear and rip like I was doing before. Hey, car guy. How you doing this evening? Okay, I'm going to live with that. We're going to let this sit and rest for a little bit. Just happen to have a bowl ready right there. So this guy hang out here for a little bit. And clean off our cutting board. And clean up that bowl back behind me. Thank you, Suki. How are you this evening? Give me one moment. And back. Actually, let's skip cleaning for a little bit later here. Let's do some onion, garlic, and pepper cutting. Nice, Lucrum. Ooh, that's not looking good. Let's see if this is even usable. It's not looking great, but core of it's okay, but this outside's sort of ugly looking. We're losing a good amount of that onion. Thank you, Nemanja. I'll refill my glass here. Drinking water tonight. I have a bit of wine here, but none of it I felt was really light shrimp, seafood type food. They're all heavier. I'm gonna need some more water in this. By the way, cheers. Sorry. Burrick. I'm not huge into. I'm more American comfort, but I try other things. My sort of exploratory thing is I hold weekly ingredient challenges. Every Wednesday I hold the ingredient challenge night of my... I'm normally only streaming 3 nights a week, but doing the first 8 days here. So right now I've got a vote going in my Discord channel where you can choose either... It's either KFC fried extra crispy chicken or ramen, which I'll use broth and noodles. And I'll have to use one of those two as an ingredient for both sweet and savory dishes on Wednesday. And so I've done a variety of other things. This is now, I think it's week 13, 14. I've done crickets last week. Popcorn, Pocky, after 8 dinner mints, Twinkies, whole bunch of different things. I am trying to do a little bit more of a UK style meat pie here later on. I think it's later this week. It's definitely this month. And so I'm just going to slice the onion. Thank you, follow Gio Perazzo. You gotta join in beforehand with it. The manager there, he had a space in your scramble. Welcome in, Gio Perazzo. We're making pasta, and shrimp, and some red pepper, or rather, sweet pepper sauce, or what you might call gravy. You have to type exclamation mark scramble without a space. What it has is, I'm using a program that's designed for one of you guys to start it off, and to start it off with some sort of wager. Instead, I've changed it around a little bit so that I have a bot starting it off, and it's free for you guys to join. And so whenever my bot starts it off, or it's not timed out, you can do it more often than my bot does it. You can type exclamation mark scramble, and then it'll go into the next part of it. Nice head, Mama Bear. Well, it's going to be a pretty simple sauce here. I'm just going to do onions and garlic. Going to give them a good saute, give them some nice color. And then we're going to add in what we got going. A little fruit fly or something. And then we're going to add in some liquid. If you got veggie stock, if you got shrimp stock, something along that line. I'm thinking I'm just going to add some water because I have chicken stock and other things, but I don't want to mix that with the shrimp. So I'm just going to do water. Or if you got white wine, perfect time for that. And I'm going to blend it all. So we're going to put a few other things in there. It's not just going to be straight onion and garlic. That cornbread last night, it turned out so light, fluffy. It was great. I'm going to use up the rest of this bag of little mini sweet peppers. So loops, just do that without the "are you still" in front of it. Thank you, Head Mama Bear. And he gives it to the first person that guesses. Not all of them that long, but there are a fair number of long words too. They are all at least remotely food related. I have not cooked squirrel before. I don't even really know where I would get squirrel other than knocking one out in the backyard, which is not the type of squirrel I really want to eat. I want one that's out in the middle of the woods, that's not, feasting in someone's compost pile or something. But yeah, it's a pretty common. There's a whole bunch of small rodent animals along that line that are pretty common in hunting areas. Evening, Tahiti lady. Tahiti lady. Wow. How are you this evening? My worst shift story? I don't have a good enough memory for that. Probably one of the ones where I got fired. None tonight, Tahiti lady. Though tonight would be a great night for if I had a Pinot Rosé or something white. No real light wine in the house tonight, so skipping the booze. Oh sure, I've been fired a couple of times. Not necessarily for reasons that I would consider legitimately, but words are hard, and I'm not used to listening to myself speak. It's sort of a new thing since I started streaming here, and so it's actually sort of helping me be a little bit clearer in my talking and stuff like that, so least I think it is. Jicama. It's been a while since I've used jicama. I don't even know what the season for jicama is. I know they grow it around here. Cheers, Auto Parts. Probably get our shrimp defrosting here, shouldn't I? Yes, I'm using frozen shrimp. Maybe because you capitalized it? That's a weird one. Let's use a pot. Just taking out what I'm going to need here for tonight's dinner. I'm not going to use this whole bag of shrimp. So, refrigerate or put these under cold water. Put the rest back in the freezer. Welcome in, Draken. If you could type in exclamation mark dinner. Or actually, I can do that for you. Not getting the soap in with the shrimp. Thank you for the follow, Draken. I'm Jason. I stream here 3 nights a week. Fridays, Wednesdays, and Sundays. I am doing the first 8 days of this year straight. Get things started off nicely. Set that up here to allow that just continue to warm up. I'm not going to leave it running underwater like the government would recommend. Mostly for your ears. Yeah, that happens around here, Draken. Actually, I think there's something in the chat rules about that. Hello, Mr. Goby. Hello from Sonoma County, California. So I'm gonna pull up my pasta roller here. Oops, sorry, bumped the camera on the stove there. I have a home cooking style, I think. So we got our dough that's been chilling here rested. Sticking to the bowl a little bit. We're okay with that. Flatten it out just a little bit and make it through the rollers easy. This may be a little wet still, but we can dust it and fold it. Yeah, it's sticking to itself too much. For my liking. Tearing a bit too much for my liking too, but we can fix that. Still a bit too wet, so I do a little bit more flour on the outside again, and then fold it in half again. The wet side against the wet side. Thank you, Head Mama Bear. Yeah, you have to type each time. It's dumb. It's a very simple setup that I'm hoping to improve in the future, but I just started it a week or two ago. Thought the words might be good for sparking conversation too, since they're all food related. Wow. Alright, battle time. Are you Stream Raiders going on here? Let's see how we do. Race to kill the last house. No worries, Lucrum. It looks like we got this handled here. Victory. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Congrats, Head Mama Bear. Going forward towards that loyalty chest there. Hoping to get there by the end of the evening. Maybe I want to put my tank here. The tank will go after this guy. Rogues up in the corner here, guys. Rogues go up after the houses. And back to making dough. Or back to making pasta. And actually, I should get water going for my pasta here, too. So, I got the pot going back here. I'm gonna grab a pitcher. One more time with the flour on the outside. I'm folding it over on itself, much like kneading earlier, helping develop that gluten and giving a bit more bite to the noodle by having all of it all in the same direction. Can I beat the pitcher overflowing? Barely. Barely. I went down in size on the roller that time. One more time with the dusting and folding. So if you want to join the scramble now, is when you type !scramble. now I'm just going to start dialing it down in thickness. I'm happier with how it's looking now. There's no real tearing or anything going on here with the dough. It's all nice and smooth. Hey, Bumper Chip. Thank you for the follow, kinematics. And slice this in half, just because it's getting a little long to handle by itself. Don't know how those peppers fell off of there, but they did. Oh, I should also turn the water on. There's a little black pepper in the dough, so that's what the black flecks are. I don't know how well it... Probably not very high resolution at this distance, but I'll give you a closer look at the pasta before I cut it. I actually think I'm going to leave it about this thickness too. I could go thinner. We got another 2 settings to go on this actually. But I'm going to do I don't know what the proper cutter is here, or the term for what this cutter is. I think it looks about the size of a linguine. So that's what I'm going to use it for. So we're going to have at least somewhat looking like linguine pasta here tonight. And before I do that though, I need a container for this pasta to go in. Thank you for the follow, Crafty Sloth. The cutters don't like to grab very easy, so sort of got to finesse it in there to start. Or force it, or what have you. Why you no go? Once it starts, it usually... There we go. Still got some stickage going. Don't want stickage. Wow, that song ended sort of abruptly. Thank you, Crafty Sloth. I don't know why, but they did the turning opposite for these rollers. So you turn the handle in opposite directions, depending on if you're rolling it out or if you're cutting it. Hey, little Miss Nikki. How you doing this evening? I am well. I'm trying to have a good start to 2021 here with solid 8 days of streaming. If you guys are new in here and you notice the title above my head there, I stream 3 nights a week normally. And so I'll be streaming straight until the 8th, and then should be going back to my normal schedule. I am trying to stream more this year than I did last year. And last year I averaged over 3 days a week. Okay, so we got a nice coat of flour on the outside of those. We'll just let those hang out for a little while while our water comes up to temp. Meantime, we'll drain the water off of our shrimps. See how these are doing. They're still a little frosty. I'm going to give them another coat of water. Yeah, they're still a little chewy. Put this away while that's filling. Give you guys a look at our shrimps as they're defrosting. They are shell on, but they've already been deveined. Well, at least I'm going to double check them, but they look like they've all been deveined pretty well. Let's get the flour out of here since we're done with that. Do a little cleanup here while we're... I can get you guys going on the stuff for the sauce. Give you guys something to look at while I do a little cleanup here. Since my large cast iron is still 3/4 full of cornbread, well, I wasn't very experienced with it beginning 2020. I still wouldn't call myself a master of it. Far from it. But I'm doing a lot better than I did last year. That is my usual hot oil, organic sunflower for just sauteing and high heat stuff. Not where I'm using it for flavor. Like I threw some extra virgin olive oil into the pasta. This is just... We need oil for fat so things don't stick. Less for flavor. That's a pretty tough one, Huberman. Because noodles are in just about every cuisine of the world. There's probably a pretty good chance that Italians stole it from the Asians. But not saying that for sure. And there's some other things that have weird in cuisine like that. Like every cuisine, every major cuisine there is, both has, and turn the fan on now, dumplings of some sort, and noodles of some sort. Though the fork, that is the Italians. Missed the pan there. Salt. Use a higher temp on onions than I would use if I was caramelizing them or sweating them. I'm going to put some color on them here. But not caramelized color. We're going to Yeah, there's quite a few really odd laws out there. There's all sorts of sites that have all sorts of funny laws and stuff like that. Used to be a ton of books that did that too. Now we got the onion starting to get some color. I'm going to turn the heat down to more of a sweating temp. And add our pepper in. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm forgetting something here. We're going to turn the heat back up. Give my hand a quick rinse. And we're going to add in couple of things here. I add in a little tomato paste. A little splash of vinegar. And we'll leave it with that. We do want to get that tomato paste on there against that high heat. That was the reason I turned the pan back up there. Okay, now back down in temp and add our peppers in. Oh, come on. I wouldn't really call those caramelized. These are a little too high heat for me for calling them caramelized, because they're going to have more texture to them. If I was shooting for caramelized onions, I would have done them lower and slower. Actually, a lot slower. Now, if you got some wine, you might skip the vinegar earlier, but I'm going to add some water in here now. And actually, I'm going to... Why not? It may have a little flavor from the shrimp. But white wine, if you got a vegetable stock, preferably a white vegetable stock, would be great for this right here. If you got seafood bouillon, most of it's just salt, but this is a good use for it. So as you can see, this ain't looking like water anymore already. Water not quite to a boil still. Do a little cleanup here. How is our shrimps feeling? Okay, they're defrosted now. I think it's a 2-minute timer on the guessing. What is that emote? I don't know that one. Excuse me. Yeah, I have that effect on people, Hooverman. Chat's a little too small for me to see what that emote chat's saying. Give me one sec. Yeah, I think just about everyone is or has their bad moments in life. That's life. I strive to minimize mine, but I guess some people choose efficiency. Battle! It is time for battle. Are you guys ready for battle? I'm not ready for battle. I'm still cleaning this bowl. That sweet pepper sauce is smelling mighty fine though. Love me that garlic, onion, sweet pepper smell. That still isn't quite clean in the bottom. We're gonna give that a second run. Let's see here. Battle. See how we fare. Cut the heat on our peppers and onions. I think we got this. Victory. Congrats, Lucrum. Again, going after that blue chest there. And carne? How can you guys not guess meat? Cheers. So we got our peppers looking nice. Water's not quite at a boil. Yep, not at a boil yet, but close. The outer jacket may be boiling at this point. Yep, there's Spanish, Italian, French, some German and Russian in there. But English chat, but international word scramble. So I'm going to take our peppers, onions, garlic, tomato paste, and water, a little vinegar in there. And I'm going to puree all this up in my blender. We got that all in there. Meet the stream for the blender. So there we go. Sweet pepper sauce. If we need to, we can thicken that up a little bit when it's in the pot. I'm going to throw that back in a little saucepan. And maybe we'll hit it with the cornstarch slurry. Because that is looking a little loose. But I don't really want to lose the volume either. Where is my... Oh, it's got the rice in it from last night. That needs a little of a scrub out. Little onion sticking in there still. So I think we're going to pour our sauce into this little guy. Yeah. Stuck. I don't have a pot that's the right size for this tonight. I'm stuck between these two. This one's too big. This one's too small. Thank you for the follow, Shuey. Daniel Ricciardo fan. Ricciardo. So we got our pan drying off there. I'm going to use this larger one for the sauce because I am thinking I want to thicken it up. We're using the sauce with shrimp, so. Oops. Was it a possum? It was. I'm gonna give that to you, Tahiti lady. Whose name I probably mispronounce about 90% of the time. We're going to turn that on the heat. Oh, we got a nice boil going here now. Take the lid off of that and let that be a nice boil without the lid. Make sure we got nice good heat for our pasta when that's ready. But I am going to thicken this up first. Then I'm going to saute up that shrimp and we'll finish it up with the pasta. So while that is coming up to temp, which won't take long, I'm going to make a cornstarch slurry. Cornstarch is over here these days. That ought to be good. Now, I didn't strain that. If you guys want to, you want to make sure you have a nice clean sauce, you can go ahead and strain it. I just left it all in there. I'm not going to sweat a couple of pepper seeds, or I cut the pepper pretty finely, so maybe not all that pureed up nicely in the quick time that I did that. But if you're worried about that, you can easily strain that real quick. We're going to use cold water from the fridge, actually, for our cornstarch slurry. Maybe a little heavy on the water, but that's not too bad though. You want it to be sort of cream or milk thickness. I don't do a ton of seafood either. I actually butchered a pig in early June, and so I've been doing a lot of pork this year. And so you can see that pretty much instantly thickened up there. Now we're back to a boil. You can see this is the thickness that the sauce is going to be at with that thickener. Much quicker route than roux, but I do prefer roux still, even though it requires a little bit more of a cook through time. So I'm going to leave this on the back burner here. That pan is still warm. A little more sunflower oil. So I did do that. I am considering what my next purchase is going to be, because I mean I am paying to keep that chest freezer now mostly empty, and so probably going to be putting that government check towards something else to butcher here on stream. I've been openly talking about a couple of things that's probably going to get people annoyed, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But I do plan to continue occasional large butchery on this stream. While we're waiting on that pan to be nice and smoky, actually that's already pretty much there, but we're going to take a moment here, close the bedroom door so that we don't set off the smoke alarm tonight, and let's talk Discord. If I had Discord open. There we go. There we go. So this is my Discord, and I wanted to just point out to you guys we have, besides Formula 1 chat, Chewy, weekly vote for January the 6th, so next Wednesday. I'm either going to have to use KFC extra crispy chicken or ramen noodles and broth, both for dinner and dessert on Wednesday. So that's the current vote. You guys are welcome to make your own suggestions over in this channel, and we make the main vote from these contributions. You can see in past weeks we had crickets here last Wednesday, done candy corn, after 8 dinner mints, Fruit Loops, string cheese, eggnog, donuts, Twinkies, Pop-Tarts, gummy worms, and Pocky and popcorn. Oh, I'm not that worried about that, Huberman. I'm more... I was hinting at a couple of different things that I could be butchering here in the future, and I don't know what I'm really going to end up doing. And so, I'm not going to lead you guys. I very much of an advocate of wanting to do some butchery and stuff on stream, because I think a lot of people need to know where their food comes from. I think they need to appreciate that a little bit more. I think our government and society hides it away from us so much that it's much more of a impactful thing than it really should be. Okay, back to sauteing shrimp here. It's not all chicken breast. You gotta have thighs and legs and wings too. You gotta have the offal, the neck, the feet. For that matter, the heads. I used to buy chicken heads and use them for stock. No, Hooperman. It's just the cheapest stuff they can get their hands on. It's just the absolute cheapest way they can produce it. Just mass make it. So I'm going to toss these actually in a little... we're going to rinse a little bit more water here. We're going to take some salt and pepper and goodness and just straight toss it on the shrimp. A little salt, a little Ajinomoto MSG, and some black pepper. And why not, since I'm thinking about it, let's do a little cayenne. And let's leave it at that. I'm going to put about half of this in there. Obviously going to need a little bit more oil in this pan too. They are cooking way too slow for my style, even though we got a full high flame underneath them. And actually, I'm going to let those finish carry over cooking on their own. I'll use this guy. Thank you, I try to. I have a horrible memory, and I probably remember some things wrong too. But rather be educational than, well, I'm sort of silent too. So we got a high flame still going under there. Gonna add even more oil here, because I want this second batch to cook even faster than that first batch. Actually, I'm sort of relying on carryover cooking to even finish that first batch, because I don't want them to be rubber. Pepinos! No, Huberman, there's been, with KFC, there's been some royal rumors going out there with that. There was one a couple of years ago where there was a university website that was hacked and said that they were growing chickens without feet and stuff like that. Without a doubt, yeah, they are very controlled chickens. We basically built chickens. You look back in the 1950s, and we started breeding chickens specifically for meat. Before the 1950-ish era, chickens were basically raised for their eggs. We didn't use them for meat so much, other than chickens gotta die, use up the meat. After the 1950s, we started commercializing them and mass producing them. Yeah, entropy. They're controlling things about the chicken. Well, they may be. I don't know if they're big enough these days. But it used to be like, or in the case of McDonald's, you're only growing specific types of potatoes for McDonald's, and they're controlling what type of potatoes they're buying, but because they're the biggest buyer, they get to choose. That's a little bit more right temp there. I mean, how many times have you heard people going out to hunt chickens? I actually have a pretty good video about that, but I stopped playing it because it's got some... Even though it's a video that's in the public domain, it has some music in it that gets claimed. At least on YouTube. You have no clue what gets claimed here on Twitch. Okay, that's good with our shrimp. Turn the heat down here, but still leave it on. Take our sauce, pour a little bit of that in here. Use that here to deglaze our pan. There's next to no heat underneath this pan. In fact, there's basically no heat underneath this pan. That's just all retained heat from the cast iron. Put all that back in with our sauce. because that's the flavor we want. You see, that's even a completely different color. Alright. So now we'll take our sauce, toss that with our shrimp over here. I'm just leaving the shells on. You can take them off now if you don't want to serve them, or if you got kids don't want them. We'll allow that to hang out. Turn the water temp back up to full heat. Add some salt into the mix. And I'm going to do all of our pasta tonight. Which may be a bit much for that. We're going to immediately cover that back up so that it doesn't lose that ton of temperature. Yeah, I'm not a huge seafood guy myself either. I do a little bit here and there. Don't need long in there. Even though we sadly lost most of our boil. That was too much pasta for that amount of water. Wish I had that on the other burner there, so let's just, I think that was a little better. Okay. That should be good now. Since this is fresh pasta, it's not dried pasta, it takes next to no time to cook. And let's use the strainer. We have our pasta, nice thickness to it. Those shrimp aren't completely cooked. This pasta is definitely going to finish that job now. We'll let them hang out for a moment here. Cheers. Nice. Seeing who all is on tonight, who we can share the love here with in a couple minutes. Now that that's done hanging out, let's make ourselves a bowl of pasta. Come on, separate. There we go. I don't think we're going to make it to the final battle for our loyalty chest tonight. I think this is going to be our last battle here. That's looking yummy to me. But you could obviously make this with chicken or anything else. Be great with some salmon too. Label. Bello is a good guess, though. Look to our battle. Oh, we got this. No problem. Entropy gonna get all the kills, though. Look at him, just stealing all those kills with his rogue. Victory. Grats head Mama Bear with the scroll. Entropy with the kills, Suki with the assist. And we'll start off with the loyalty chest here to start off the next stream tomorrow night. Do a quick look here at what we're doing here tomorrow night on stream. Give you guys a... I walked through this pretty good the other night. Yesterday. But, oh, come on, load, Twitch. I know you've been having issues tonight. Hopefully you guys haven't had any big issues. Seems like chat's been working pretty good tonight. I know it was having issues this afternoon tonight. Hopefully you guys haven't had any big issues. Seems like chat's been working pretty good tonight. Oh, hello there, Mute. Wow. So we got our fresh pasta and pepper sauce. That's tonight. Tomorrow night we're going to be using up the rest of those beans that I made on the first. Going to be doing a cottage pie with those. And, yeah, should be a good week. We'll be doing cottage pie tomorrow, spaghetti on Monday, Tuesday maybe a late start, and then the 6th is going to be the ingredient challenge. Yeah, I know, Hooperman. I opened my page and the page wasn't muted. That was my bad. Sorry for the echo there. Let's see who we can give a raid to tonight. Let's see. Why don't we go raid him? It's been a while since we've hung out with him. we're going to go ahead and say hello to Chef Babylon once again. Give you guys a look at the final dish here. Give you an up close with the right coloring because the good camera has the best color. You got some nice parm, you can throw a little bit of that over the top. I'd like to thank you guys for joining me tonight. I hope you guys enjoy hanging out with Chef Babylon. He's not always not always streaming the same times as me, so not often I get to raid him. I hope you all have a great night. I will be back tomorrow. Thank you. See you again soon.